Hey guys, what's good? Triple J Boxing here. So, will the 3 extra pounds that Ryan Garcia didn't have to drain himself of, will that be an advantage to him? Will that make a difference? I'm gonna talk about that and get into that, and we'll talk a little bit about Devin Haney. And he made 140, but he did look like a skeleton. So we'll get into those two topics. So let's start off with Ryan Garcia. We all know he came in 3.2 pounds over. You could tell he didn't even really like. I think he obviously tried to. He said he tried to make weight, which he definitely did drain himself because obviously he looked nothing like Haney. Obviously, Haney looked like just a shell, like just a skeleton. But you could see in Ryan's face that his face was sucked in, and he obviously doesn't walk around at 143. Both these men walk around at over 160, near 170. But will the 3 pounds make a difference? And because he's going to be less drained, he didn't have to kill himself to make the weight, whereas Haney had to. So I found this interesting, and this is my opinion on it. And let me know what you guys think. And I also seen an interview that we'll get into later with Robert Garcia, and I'll tell you what he thought. So I think it is an advantage, obviously, if you don't have to kill yourself to make weight. How big of an advantage will depend on Ryan Garcia's physical shape to begin with. Because if Ryan Garcia is in tip-top shape and is his strongest, like say he trained like an animal, this will be a huge advantage because he didn't have to kill himself to take that 3 pounds off. But on the other hand, if the reason why, and that's, oh yeah, I have to mention this, purposely done. So he did it on purpose. He didn't want to make the weight, which he said he did. But then again, I heard that he said he tried and his body couldn't go any lower. So a little bit of both. I don't know. It's hard to say if he did it completely on purpose or if he just couldn't do it. I think he could have made down to 140. He just didn't want to. And it's just the PTSD he got from the tanks situation where he had to go down to 136 and he never wanted to do that again. So I believe he could have, though he says he tried to, and that's the way he worded it, guys, is like, I really tried to, but anymore I would have been weak. So I feel like he could have made 140, but he didn't want to be weak to make 140, which, because I think physically it was possible in his current state. But back to the advantage part. If he did this purposefully and he's in tip-top shape, this is a huge advantage. But if he did not make weight because he just didn't train hard and he wasn't focused on making weight, that's a whole different thing. Sure, he's going to feel better. He's going to feel healthier. Maybe won't have the headaches, won't be irritable as much, will be stronger at the moment. But on fight night, will that translate to a bigger advantage? Probably not, because you're not in tip-top shape anyway. You know what I'm saying? The reason why you couldn't make the weight is because you weren't training hard and you weren't focused. So it wasn't, you can say you did it on purpose, but if you weren't in tip-top shape, this 3 extra pounds won't really, it'll make you feel better right now, but it won't make a difference in the fight, I don't think. I think, though, it is a huge advantage if he is tip-top shape and it was all planned. Because we all seen, so let's just leave it at that, guys. Let's go to Devin Haney now. Devin Haney killed himself to make this weight, and it's kind of strange because obviously in a lot of fights lately, since I can remember, Devin looks like a skeleton at the weigh-in. Weight drained against Lomachenko, weight drained against Regis, obviously. But he puts on the weight overnight, right? There's no rehydration clause in those fights. And in the Regis fight, he went up to 165. I think back a couple years ago with the Linares fight, he came in at 156, and that fight was at 135. So he's been doing this for a while. So It is strange how he's struggling to make the 140 already, and he's only had one fight there. But you got to think, guys, he was severely struggling to make 135. He is 25 years old. You have to understand that. Your body is growing, your metabolism changes, you're filling out. Very rarely are you ever going to stay the same weight and size as you were when you were 18. You're going to put on weight. You're going to get a bit bigger even if you do nothing. But he's putting on muscle because he's moving up in the weight classes. He's growing. So it is a transition weight class. It's not, they didn't used to have these weight classes back in the day. It would just be 135 lightweight, and you'd move up all the way to welterweight to 147, and that would be, what is that, 12 pounds you would move up, which isn't that big of a deal, don't seem like. But when you look at 135 to 140, that's only 5 pounds. So nonetheless, it's not that crazy to think he's still going to be weight trained. It's only an extra 5 pounds between the weight classes, right? I just think his training program, he's putting on muscle, he's growing at this stage in his career. His body's still growing, and it's just, I don't see him making 140 for much longer, and you can tell he's struggling to make this weight already. Someone brought up a point, though. How does he put on this kind of weight like overnight? How is he putting on 25 pounds overnight, like every fight? And to me, it looks like you would have to be using IV fluid to be doing that. I could be wrong, though, guys. Let me know. A legal IV, I guess, that you can do. I don't know. There is a limit to how much IV you can use. Look it up, guys. It is against the drug policy, like the VADA and anti-doping drug testing. There's a certain limit to how much IVs you can put in your system at once at any given time without actually going to a hospital and doing it. Because you can do IV at your home or outside of a hospital, a certain limit. But I think there's a limit to that, and then you have to go to the hospital and get all these things checked up, because I think it can be used to mask performance-enhancing drugs. But let me know if I'm wrong, guys. Is he just consuming orally, just drinking water to put on that 25 extra pounds, or is he taking an IV? I assume it's an IV. But so for Devin, I got to say he does look kind of weak at the weigh-in, not even before the weigh-in. His eyes, his face, the bags under his eyes, he just looks, and even his voice sounds very lethargic, and I think it's because the weight cut. I think obviously fight night he'll be fine, because he's been doing this for a long time, so it's nothing new. I don't think it will be too bad. Obviously it's not ideal, but he wants that size advantage over these guys, so it's positives over negative. You would rather be a bigger guy and be a bit weight drained than be a little bit more healthier, but don't have that weight size advantage as much, right? It's kind of like it's a double-edged sword, because when you dehydrate severely and you blow up in weight, you're going to have a size advantage over the guy. But on the other hand, you could be unhealthy and weight drained going into the fight as well. So, but the other part of it is, if you fight at the weight class that you walk around in, you're going to be smaller than the guys because they're weight draining, you're not. So it's like you got to reach a balance, right? You don't want to cut too much weight because that could be detrimental. But Haney's been doing it for a while, so I don't assume that will be a severe problem in the fight, to be honest. And for Ryan, like I said, it will be a huge advantage if he is in tip-top shape, that extra 3 pounds. Because if it's not, if he didn't make the weight because he just wasn't focused during this camp, then it won't really matter. The 3 pounds won't matter. Like, you know what I mean? And that's my thoughts on it. And Robert Garcia, in an interview with Ali Setback, he said the same thing. Robert Garcia says, if Ryan did this purposefully and he's in tip-top shape, it's a big advantage. But if he just didn't make weight because he wasn't focused during camp and he didn't train hard, you could say it's actually worse, because it's showing his worth ethic wasn't there. He's not in good shape. Like, that's worse than being a little bit weight drained like Haney. So, anyway, guys, we'll find out what transpires, guys. Like I said, Haney, he did look like a skeleton, weight drained, but he's used to it. I assume he'll be okay. It's all the eyes are on Ryan. He made it that way. Like, how is he going to perform during this fight? We are going to find out, guys. And there's a lot of intrigue here. Let me know what you guys think. It's Triple J Boxing. Can't wait for the fight. Take care.